Welcome to Online Safety in the Digital World, brought to you by the parenting team. What shall we talk about today? We're going to look at what you're worried about, the positives of being online, bullying, inappropriate content, mental health, planning ahead, having conversations, if it's not working, reporting it, and leading by example. But first, let's focus on the good things, because there are good things about the internet. It can be fun. There are some amazing, funny things on the internet where you can watch films, you can watch TV shows, you can watch funny videos. It can be fun to learn. There are so many fun things that you can do. You can mix with friends and family and connect with family across the other side of the world. You don't have to be limited to postcards and letters anymore. There is the wonderful world of videos and live streaming, and there are so many wonderful things that we can do to ensure that we are all connected. You can have an online identity. We can learn new information and stay up to date all of the time. It can make homework so much easier if, like me, learning about maths can be really hard and keeping up to date with the new ways of learning. There is so many things out there that can help us to ensure that we are more successful in this world. And you can access support. There is so much support out there, from meditation to counseling to information of how to use and cook in the kitchen. There is support from all avenues. Sometimes our concerns and worries can cause an argument. And this is because we just want to protect our children, or we just don't know the answers. But what we want to try and do is limit our worries and concerns so there are less arguments that happen. Some of the things that worry us could be that we don't know or we don't like who our children are mixing with. We don't know who our child is talking to online. They could be speaking to someone on the other side of the world who we don't know and will never meet, and that can be really worrying. They can spend too much time on devices late into the night. We don't know what our children are viewing, or are they sharing any content? Should they be sharing any content? They refuse to show us what they're doing or give us any passwords. They don't know We don't know how to set parental controls on each device and each app and each program. It can be really individual, and this can be really overwhelming and hard to keep up to date with. We don't know the risks that might be present. There could be bullying, and our child might be viewing porn, and you need to understand the effects of pornography as well. Before we start to break down the subjects and content, it's important to remember that when we are talking with our child, that we're going to need to have a conversation. It's not going to be shouty, it's not going to be accusing, it's going to be a conversation, a two-way conversation. So it's an education for both. You have to remember that this is a learning curve for everyone. A lot of time, we as parents, we are on the catch up all the time. And so we have to be open and be aware that there are things that we're going to need to learn. We also need to be aware that there are some things that we're never going to think about and never consider that we're going to have to learn about. And this is where we need to stay calm and have a conversation. We need to be able to provide an ear to our child, and so that they are being heard and that they are being listened to. And we need to believe what they are saying. And like I said, that we need to stay calm. If we fly off the handle and go into an argument and start shouting, we're just going to put up walls and barriers. We need to ensure that we are having conversations and staying calm and are listening to our child the entire time. And if there is a major concern, there is something that worries you, you need to report it. That is the only way we can stamp out some of the badness that happens, is if we report it. So this is the stuff that we need to remember as we are going through this program. First, let's start with bullying. According to Ofcom, 84% of 8 to 17-year-olds have said that they've been bullied on social media, through text messages and on other online platforms. This is compared to 61% face-to-face. Cyberbullying can come in the form of text messages, emails, social networks, gaming platforms. It can be threats, intimidation, harassment, stalking, rejection, exclusion, hacking into social media accounts, and publicly posting or sending personal information about another person. And there could, of course, be manipulation. The difference with cyberbullying and face to face bullying is that cyberbullying is hard to get away from. Face to face bullying, someone can go home and the bullies won't get through that front door. With cyberbullying, it is always with you. There is no escape. You can only way to get away from it is to switch the phones off, which is really hard to do when you've got multiple ways of people being communicated with through gaming consoles, through phones, and through other devices. There is no escape from this type of bullying. Bullying can reach vast audiences in a matter of seconds. This is called repetition, where a bully is able to share hurtful comments and images of somebody in seconds over multiple platforms. So, what are the signs that my child might be experiencing cyberbullying? They might begin ignoring electronic devices or unexpectedly have a change of heart about how they feel about games that they have been playing. Their general behaviour might become withdrawn, they might be angry or lashing out, and they could be nervous around their devices. They might become reluctant to go to school or take part in usual social activities. They might have stomach aches and avoid talking about the internet when it comes up. If you do have concerns about this, please talk to the police, the school, to ensure your child is safe. Inappropriate content, porn, and unwanted materials. Basically, porn is everywhere. 30% of all internet traffic is porn related. Viewing pornography appears to increase with age. On average, children in the UK view online pornography by the age of 13. 10% see it as early as 9. Accidentally seeing pornography is more common than deliberately looking for it. Our children may be sent messages or may be in a search bar and it would just an image or video may just pop up on their screen and they have not looked for it. They may have been looking for something completely innocent. There are gender differences. Boys are more likely to access it than girls. Viewing pornography can affect a young person's sexual beliefs. Pornography is linked to young people taking part in risky behaviours. Viewing sexualized and violent materials sets unrealistic expectations and ideas about pleasure, consent, relationships, bodies, sexual health, power and aggression, and performance. We need to have conversations with our child about porn. Conversations with our children can help them better understand their bodies, and you can support them to develop a better, positive body image. They give us an opportunity to share values about sexuality. Conversations can help children understand what a healthy sexual relationship is and what it is not. Conversations can help you get ahead of potential misinformation they might come across through friends or other online spaces. Inappropriate content sending. What is sexting? Sexting is the act of sending sexually explicit messages or text messages or photographs. Sexting is never private. It can be used as extortion or as a threat. Some young people do not see it as a problem, as it has become a normal behaviour for children to share images of themselves or other people. It is illegal. So, what's the law? If you create an explicit photograph of yourself and you are under the age of 18, you have potentially created an indecent image of a child. If you send this image to someone else, you have then distributed an indecent image of a child. If you are receiving this image, you are then in possession of an indecent image of a child. Sharing any image of a child who is naked is distribution. This is all against the law. And this is what we need to remember: anyone under the age of 18 is a child. and this is not okay. This, if there is ever a time when if an image is found of someone who is under the age of 18 and they are naked, this needs to be reported to the police. If someone asks a child for an image of themselves who to be naked, then this needs to be reported as well. There are lots of other things that you need to think about allowing your child to access social media and having content online. You will need to have conversations about these topics too. Grooming, who are they talking to and what do they want from you? Is if someone is asking them for something, are they being groomed? What is it this person is after? If your child is sharing other people's images, do they have consent? Whether it's an image of people at school, it could be a really nice photograph. If you do not have consent to share another person's image, you should not be sharing this other person's image online. Everyone needs to have respect, and images should no photograph or content should be shared without consent. Where is their image going? Is it being used on AI? If you post on something on Facebook or Meta, is that image now the property of Meta or Facebook? It is not your property anymore. Would, if you put an image into ChatGPT, does that then become the property of ChatGPT? So you cannot have ownership of that anymore. So thus your own image or your child's image may be used by ChatGPT in another search. These are things to be considered. Fake news and misinformation is a massive topic. They need to understand that not all what they see is real. It could be AI, it could be completely wrong. And this is something you need to consider and everyone needs to think about, because once we start believing the wrong information, then we can all be manipulated. What information do you share online and where does it go? What do we put on about schools, where we live, what we eat? Does this information go somewhere? Yes, it does. And who is accessing that information and what are they going to do with it? These are all really big questions, but there's something to protect ourselves and to protect our mental health. And so we are not can be manipulated or abused in any way. We need to make sure we know what we are putting online. The less shared, the better. Mental health and screen time. The science. Spending too much time on devices and looking at screens is not good for us. Some researchers found that children who spend more than 2 hours a day on screen time activities scored lower on language and thinking tests. Screen-based entertainment increases the central nervous system arousal, which amplifies anxiety, and this makes the screen addictive. The blue light that emits from screens tricks the brain into thinking it's daytime. When this happens, the body stops releasing a sleep hormone called melatonin, which is why if they're looking at the devices at night, they will stay up later because their brain is not able to learn how to switch off. Mental health and viewing content. The types of content we view online can have a negative impact on our views, identity, behaviour, and our mental health. If we look at these subject matters, misinformation and fake news, sex and behaviours, online hate, radicalisation, the impact of body image, how we view ourselves, these are all subject matters and content that can appear in our social medias, in our socials, that if we view the content over and over again, we will start to believe it. This comes from algorithms. So if we accidentally watch a video, or just watch a video because why not sometimes, this can then lead the algorithm to you see more and more videos of the same thing. And then what happens is that our brain sometimes will start to think that this is real. So this can have an impact on our understanding of the news, fake news. The more we see something, the more we will believe it. If we view some violent content around sex and behaviors, we will believe that this is how you act in a relationship. This is how you treat your partner. Obviously, we know it's not. If we see online hate, we may start to believe the online hate. We may start to believe the online hate and fake news combined together, and it can turn to radicalization. We can impact how we see what the perfect body is and how then we see ourselves. And if we are not in control of this, it can overplay on our socials. It can overplay in our brains and make us start to believe that we need to act in a certain way, that we need to look a certain way. And this can have an impact on our mental health. Thinking about reality and expectations of money and what people seem to have in Instagram and TikTokers, they have fake lives where they're able to live in mansions and they're traveling the world in these most beautiful places. And yes, they may be in beautiful places, but you don't know what's behind those images to how they've got there. And not everybody actually has money that they're perceiving to have. It's all unreal, it's fake. But we need to teach our children that this is fake. We need to teach our children not everyone looks like that, is not a healthy body image. We need to teach our children that online hate is not a good thing, that relationships are meant to be equal, and that if we see some information online, we need to research it. Is it real? Is it not real? Is this a true thought? Is this not a true thought? These can all have an impact on how we think and may cause depression, may cause anxiety. It may worry our children. We also need to think about privacy and oversharing. Sometimes as parents, we want to share our children's good things, but is this going to impact on our children's lives? Remembering that our children need to create their own online identity. And if the images that we are sharing online of our children when they are younger, they may be used and manipulated in the future. And we need to think about that, because not everyone is okay. Not everyone is safe. Not everyone is kind. We also need to think about trends and crazes that happen. And we need to be aware of this because they can be harmful. This is a lot to think about in this webinar, and it might be really overwhelming for you right now. But these are things to kind of dip your toe in, to think about, what is it that I'm sharing? What are the trends at the moment? What are my children viewing? And these are worries, these are valid to be worried, but this is where we talk about taking a step back and having a conversation with our child about what they are seeing, what is real, what isn't real, but always staying calm. So what can we do? Let's have a think. Everything we have spoken about can impact ourselves and our children. So how can we make our online usage as safe as possible? Once again, have a conversation and communicate with your child. Try and stay up to date with the news and trends. Have oversight over your child's content. It's important to take breaks from screens as part of an agreement with your child. Make sure that they have an internet pause every hour or so to ensure that they are having a break. It's not good for their eyes, it's not good for their heads. Have at least 1 hour off screen before going to bed. The school health team suggests 2 hours. It's important to have this screen break before going to bed, so to ensure that you are creating natural melatonin to help our children and ourselves go to sleep. If we are on our phones just as we are going to sleep, we are not going to have a good night's sleep. We must remember to stay calm, and as parents, we must promote positive online presence by doing these things ourselves. If we are on our phones all the time and our children just see us on our phones all the time, all they are going to want to do is be on their phones all the time, because that is what we are doing, regardless of whether we are on TikTok or whether we're doing the Tesco's order. What all they see is us on our phones. So we need to get off our phones and be doing other things. And that is the only way our children are going to do that as well. Planning ahead. What information would it be useful and helpful to have before talking to your child? Which apps and games do they want to use, or are they using? Are they using Snapchat, FIFA, WhatsApp, Roblox, Minecraft, Instagram, YouTube? There are hundreds and hundreds of games being created continually, and guaranteed your child will know about them before you do. But what we can try to do is stay up to date. And if they ask to have a game added or an app added to their devices, you can have containment and control over that. It's good to know what they're using and be reading up about it. What are the associated risks with each game or app? What are they used for? Things to think about. Can they contact people, or can they be contacted? Is there location sharing? Switch that off. Live streaming, and is there live gaming? Most of the games now do have lots of online togetherness gaming portals. Who are they playing with? Do they know the people, or is it people that they don't know? How do you put in parental controls? This logo down here, www.internetmatters.org, is a great resource that I would like to guide you to. Internet Matters provides up-to-date information about social media and gaming sites. It was created by the NSPCC and all the top internet providers in the country. They keep it continually up to date, and they've made it very, very user friendly. So you can search for consoles, devices, the games, the apps. They are neurodivergent supported as well. Things to think about. There are lots of contracts that you can look at. There are age-related things to consider for smaller children, things to consider for teenagers. It is a very useful website. When thinking about a plan and how you're going to have a conversation with your children, always start with trust. This is a really good place to start with, because if we don't trust them, they're never going to trust us. There is a lot of privacy and a lot of ownership on having social medias and gaming, and we need to be able to trust them that they know the right thing and they know what to do. So, like we said before, ask them what games they'd like to use and what do they do. Ask them if they know where to go to for help, where to find the safety advice, the privacy settings, where to and how to block people if they need to. Go through these with them, talk it through. Don't tell them, discuss it. If we're continually telling our children what to see and what to think, they're never going to allow us in. We need to allow them to help themselves and trust them. Encourage them to show you how to do something better online. They might have a friend who would benefit from their help or support. Sometimes it's really good to play dumb. Think about how you use the internet as a family. What could you do to get more of the internet together and further enjoy your lives online? Could be playing games together. Have Friday night gaming night, Mario Kart all out. It could be that you go on a Minecraft adventure together. It could be that you create TikToks. If you're doing this together and having a conversation and making it fun, there is going to be more trust there. The object is to promote trust and enable them to be able to come to you if they feel there is a problem. Like in the real world, we always promote having a conversation, being approachable, being adaptable to whatever our child needs. If we listen to them and listen to their needs and read the room, they will come to us if there is a problem. And that's what we want them to do with the real world as well as the online world. The NSPCC have created this online safety agreement that is really useful. You can put in ideas, what you'll be doing, who's going to check it, what behavior is okay, what behavior isn't. So everyone is on the same page. And you can do this too. So everyone, like it says here, adults at the end, is for adults as well as children. Rewards and consequences. Like everything, rewards if things are going well. And if things aren't going too well, rethink things. So if it's going well, praise your child. Tell them that what they are doing is good and that they are doing it very well. Some reward ideas for keeping into the rules could be allowing them to spend a bit more time on their device or online at the weekends, maybe 20 minutes, half an hour later goes far. Checking their accounts less frequently to show them that you do trust them, and being allowed a new game on extra phone credit or a positive activity. It's not about spending loads and loads of money on them. It's about showing them that you trust them and that you are giving them a bit of rope. If it's not going so well, maybe the screen time needs to be reduced for the next day. Not being allowed the Wi-Fi code for a set period of time or contacting the data provider to turn off their data. Not being allowed to spend time with their friends. Not being allowed to access apps or games without supervision and switching off the internet. You do have that power to do that. Like we were talking about with that plan before, they could actually come up with the consequences. So if they don't abide by the rules, so like the internet needs to be off at their devices need to be off at 8 p.m. then and they're still on at 8:30, then what will their rule be? Well, it will be that it goes off at 7:30 the next day, or the internet goes off for the entire evening. These are things to consider, but have an agreement with your child beforehand and ask them and speak to them. If it's starting to take over their lives, then they need to have less time with their devices. They need to find other things to do because it's obviously affecting their brain and their anxiety, and they are becoming too overwhelmed with it. As mentioned before, there are times when you may need to report content that you have seen. And don't worry, you won't be judged. For certain things, you might need to contact your local police force. It could be that if it's related to sexting or image sharing, you need to contact CEOP. Internet Matters have an option to be able to share. Also, the NSPCC. You can also talk to your internet provider and you could speak to the school for support as well. But in all circumstances, you shall not be judged, you will not be judged, and it's better for you to report it and seek out ideas and support if you need them. Sharenting. To have a safer internet, we need to promote a safer internet. And that is that we need to lead by a good example and set a good example for our child, because our children copy us in every way, shape, and form of our lives. So we need to, if we are having conversations and are being educated and we are open and we are listening and we are staying calm and reporting it if need be, that promotes a safer internet. And we need to do this ourselves. So if we are expecting our children to be time limited, we need to be time limited. If we want them to listen to us, we need to listen to them. We need to be open. They need to be open. They will only stay calm if we stay calm. It's easier to have a conversation with someone if everyone is staying calm. And if you can't be calm in that moment, pause and walk away and come back to have the conversation at another time. And that is the end of our webinar. Thank you for coming today. If you have any questions or queries, please email the parenting team at eh.0-19 parenting team at esussex.gov.uk. Many thanks.